Hello, and welcome to In The DeNovo. I'm Will Grace, founder and managing director here at DeNovo Treasury, where we empower leaders of community financial institutions entering commercial and industrial banking with expertise for their strategic investment in treasury management products and services. We prioritize the how over the what. We believe in a collaborative journey and go beyond traditional services by actively transferring treasury management expertise to our clients. Thank you for joining us and staying in the know within the DeNovo.
One of the things that I actually had slated for later in this podcast is who are our target and current customers. And the reason I want to ask this now is banks of all sizes have treasury management concerns, but what we do at DeNovo Treasury is really focused on community financial institutions, credits, smaller banks, rural banks. I'm curious to know if you could speak to why that particular segment of the financial industry is what you chose to focus on.
Yeah, the need is the need, right? It could be that there is a mid-size bank that needs it. I will tell you that we have a couple of mid-size banks, and I'm going to define mid-size the way that the Federal Reserve does, which is 8 billion to 100 billion. Okay, that's a mid-size bank. Once you get past 8 billion, you're considered mid-size. And we have 2 to 3 prospects that are in the $17 billion range, which ironically is where Chemical Bank was when I started there and was building out the product management team. Now, their needs are much different. They tend to have needs that are in the product management type area where they're building out product organizations and they need help in that area, or their needs are more focused on they have a pretty good product set and it's kind of like, what's next? How do we elevate? Now, where we find the community financial institutions, so let's talk about 8 billion and below. These are the financial institutions that are really kind of moving from what I would consider to be what they would call business products, and they kind of get started with small business and micro business, and their product set does very good just on the entry level, and they're serving kind of that mom and pop business and the one-off needs that they had as they were growing, maybe from a DeNovo, so no pun intended, from a DeNovo bank that grows from one branch. So they went through a DeNovo process and they became a chartered bank. And maybe now they're growing organically or they're growing by acquisition. And now it's time to change their portfolio. And so, when they start out with, the retail side, they start with mortgages. When they get into business, they tend to get into commercial lending and commercial real estate, excuse me. And, so that when they need to diversify and get out of commercial real estate can be somewhat risky, right? So they need to get into commercial and industrial type lending. And that requires a more sophisticated product set. That is also where the deposits are greater and the non-interest income is greater. So as they grow and they want to, so when I say they, I mean the community financial institutions, as they grow, or if they have an edict to grow from their board or from their C-suite, hey, we want to grow deposits. We want to grow non-interest income. Treasury management's a lead in that. And in order to attract those businesses, those C&I businesses that are, it's a very competitive space. A lot of financial institutions that are going after those, they have to have a product set that will compete. And, every large and mid-sized bank is going after those same deposits. They're going after those same C&I clients. So, imagine the money center banks. So we're talking about JP Morgan, we're talking about Citi, we're talking about Bank of America, we're talking about Wells, who have very rich product sets in treasury management, are going after the same customers sometimes that, your county bank is, that, is trying to stay with their hometown customer that they've had for a very long time, might be growing, and they want to grow with them. And that's where DeNovo Treasury and kind of our sweet spot tends to be with our customers where they're finding this kind of growth tends to be 1 to 5 billion. Doesn't mean we can't help everybody. It's just depending on where they are in their growth continuum, right? And where they are in this timeline. We have clients that are as small as 200 million. And we have prospects that are as large as 17 billion. Just depends on where that need is. But it tends to fall. Really, most of our clients tend to fall right about 1 billion. Seems to be the magic number on where they start to really find this need to invest in treasury management, and where the leadership is like, it's time. It's time for us to change our portfolio. It's time to change that dynamic. Need to get out of the C&R, like the less dependent on real estate lending and getting more into the C&I lending. And we need more deposits from that group. We need more non-interest income. And that's how the progression works. And that's where DeNovo Treasury comes in. It's where our expertise comes in. We can help them with, hey, where do we stand in the market with our local and regional competition? How do we go about then changing that? And where are our gaps? How do we prioritize? And, because we're going to find that 9 times out of 10, they're going to have 15, 20, 25 plus gaps when it comes to what we call table stakes. These are the things that a C&I type client will require of their financial institution in order to bring their banking to them. Thanks for tuning into this episode of In The DeNovo. For more content like the video we shared today, check out our website at DeNovoTreasury.com and our YouTube channel at DeNovo Treasury. Thanks, and see you next time.